champions on KT. Their champions are just so much more powerful. 3 items forward. And the gears that I talked about, the engage with the Skarner, the flexibility that the Jax has, the Yuumi ultimate, the repositioning with the Ezreal, everything is too problematic for Hanwha to handle.
I like that Skarner priority. We saw it worked to very good stuff the other day, just before, just flashing on in and catching one of the squishies, or pretty much anyone, and then forcing it into a 5v4.
And taking a look at the team composition, Kalista, LeBlanc, Lux, J4, and Irelia. There's going to need to be quite a bit of focus, and Bono's going to have his work cut out for them this game, because all of the lanes are going to want his help.
We'll see if he can actually help. Bot lane is not going to be great. It's going to be hard to stomp onto the Akali. Maybe some top lane focus. We'll have to wait and see.
Jax, Skarner, Akali, Ezreal, and Yuumi. Basically, they just want to weather the storm early on, but Jax can obviously go toe-to-toe in the early stages.
Yeah, so guys, we're just about ready to hop into game number 1. Hanwha Life Esports up against KT Rolster. Let's do it. Well, KT fans coming out here in throngs once again, especially for that Prey player that everybody knows and loves. We have Guardian here for the side of the Lux. We saw yesterday that it wasn't Aftershock, but the Unsealed Spellbook taken the one time. And now we have another summon, or rune choice coming in here.
Looks like a very safe opening by both teams. Skarner perhaps going to be starting on the right-hand side. They're just going to get the Spire, share the gold. 30 gold start right there. Other than that, nothing too exciting happening here in the early stages. It's looking like it might just be a leashless start for KT and for Hanwha Life as well. So we're going to get right into the action. And Bono is going to need to help out the Aurelia first and foremost in the top lane, because if Jack starts snowballing, it can reach a point where he can just 1v2. That's not something they want to have happening.
It's definitely not ideal. We're once again getting a look here down in the bottom lane at what the different choices are here in the runes, and the Guardian is definitely very interesting. We saw how Lux's shield yesterday was doing some insane stuff, especially in the late game, and instead of trying to stay alive with the Aftershock, she just says, I'm just going to be a big-time shield bot and make sure that nobody on my team dies.
Definitely a powerful support pick right now in the current meta. Right now they're just trying to shove the Ezreal and the Yuumi in. And Bono, he's looking to make something happen very early on. This is a 2-buff clear into an invade, and he's going to spot out. He doesn't have smite, he can't go for anything there.
Flag comes down, already pings were happening when the Spire was taken, but either way, just going to move over to the Raptors. Very aggressive here is Bono, trying to do whatever he can to have jungle.
And this is actually a really good decision by that I want to point out. Normally, one might think that Skarner could just try to go for a full clear, but due to the dynamic of the middle lane matchup, LeBlanc's always going to have priority early on. She can stand left-centric on her side of the lane and invade with Bono, which could have ended up resulting in losing his red buff, and perhaps even his Raptor camp, because of the way that mid lane early prio could work. And so foregoing his Gromp camp and Wolves and electing to immediately go over to the left-hand side is quite good.
It's looking to avoid that entirely, and now with the push down here on the bottom side, you see tons of pings by Bono onto the Scuttle Crab, saying that Umti's probably here, but they're too late, as Umti will snatch it away and get away.
This is a really good position right now. If you're the Skarner, you have a direct line pathing back towards the left-hand side of the map, which is where you're going to want to be on. The Rubber Band Golem camp will eventually respawn, and it's around the timing that Jax would maybe just like to have some coverage. So everything is going quite well for KT early on here. Lava, he still has 2 corrupting potions, so don't let his HP and mana bar confuse you about this current lane state.
Yeah, he's doing just fine. Mention the focus up towards the top lane. Bono just going to make his way through the scuttle and hang around the top side. Pings on where those wards could be. Let's see if he actually does try to make a play up here. See Solan trying to bait him into it and actually taking a fantastic trade over the Jax here.
And you can see this is the timing where Jax has a really big wave, and so if he died right here to a Jarvan gank, it would allow Sohan to create a permanent freeze in front of the turret due to the size of the minion wave and how many spellcasters exist.
Yeah.
And that could be catastrophic because then Jax has to look on, and if he teleports, he could just end up getting reganked, and then suddenly top lane's actually just over. 2-3 level gap, and that's the end of the game. And so Skarner's pathing, it lines up accordingly to the way that the top lane state will play out. It allows Jax to get the crash, get the recall he's looking for, and now he's going to be in the driver's seat as Skarner is pathing to the golem.
James on a BDD, and he gets the knock up here, but he's still in the shroud. Goes for that shuriken, but flashes forward, and the ignite will finish it off. First blood will already go to Lava.
And this is really good for them. Getting the LeBlanc rolling and putting the Akali behind is really good right now because the center of the map is going to be able to sort of control the side lanes, but also having the priority permanently in mid for that Infernal Dragon is going to be really big for Hanwha Life because quite literally every champion on their team benefits from it. We take a look at the replay, and you can see what's going on here is BDD, he wants this final crash before the waves, before he would end up looking for his recall, and they just get everything out of him. They do have to expend summoners.
아벨 거 왔거든 미드? 나왔어.
I'll probably get him, and I got
나이스!
him. And then nicer.
Yeah, nice.
밀어줘 같이 밀자.
Let's push together. So I was just impressed that he was able to just hop right on top of him with the distortion and lands the chains. Not something that every LeBlanc player can do, but Lava definitely one of these well-known guys here in the LCK for his LeBlanc.
Now at this point, the Lost Chapter is completed for the LeBlanc, so her sustain is going to be absolutely fantastic. Just confirming that the Infernal Dragon has not been taken yet. Skarner's still level 5. He does have his Predator shoes. Not quite level 6 yet. I would expect that the first gank would most likely end up occurring in the top lane for the Skarner. Although, if Lava's pushed up a little bit too far, something could definitely happen down there. It's really difficult to gank the Kalista and the Lux when you have Ezreal Yuumi, though.
There's just no easy in the lane unless Yuumi hits 6 and they somehow are able to go super aggressive on that one. But very unlikely, as you mentioned. Certainly the top lane is where both teams are going to want to focus for the ganks. But so far, just looking at level 6, we saw that Bono hit it first. Did pick up that assist in the mid lane. And we talked about that priority in the mid lane and then pushing with the Lux, or not the Lux, the LeBlanc and the Jarvan. Already you can see Lava getting forward here and aggressive in the jungle, putting down that control ward, helping out his jungler.
BDD continuing to feel the pressure here in mid. Bono now looking to come in and get intel on Umti. Umti's not quite 6 yet.
They did see him, though. The control ward there up at the river at the top side was able to see him coming in. Down at the bottom lane at the same time, we saw the final chapter blown here by Yuumi and a flash by D to get out of dodge. So doing well in the Yuumi lane, at least.
Yeah. And Yuumi and Ezreal, they're just getting further and further ahead. Kalista gonna have to end up missing out on this whole wave. This is also gonna be a plate going down for KT.
I even like the efficiency with which they back. You know, just doing a little bit of damage. Yuumi does the rest of it, and then Ezreal starts the back. You just attach with Yuumi. You're going back right away. Pretty good stuff here.
You can see Umti actually didn't even want to clear out the control ward right there. Didn't want to risk that maybe Jarvan was right over the side of the wall and then Key able to follow up with CC, and then suddenly you end up dying, give away the Infernal Drake. Doesn't want to risk it.
see part of Lux's power is even she's leading the charge, has her allies behind her, of course, but can get the vision with that
man.
knee. Predator here is going to be blown. They're looking for Key, but a great Mage call is going to get her out of dodge right on time to save her life.
And that's the situation I was talking about earlier, where it's really hard to gank Kalista and Lux, because the ultimate from Kalista can just come in, pull her right out of harm's way, but alternatively she can just hit the binding and then everything stops. So a little bit unfortunate there for KT. And I should also note that Sohan is doing a fantastic job up here in this top lane against Kingen. This isn't the way that you would have envisioned the top lane playing out, but you can see right now Bono down in here in bottom lane. He's looking to make something potentially happen, but Skarner is just on the horizon.
Doesn't look like they know that Bono's here, but MT heading up towards the mid lane. It's just going to chill for a while. It's both of the teams kind of just feeling each other out and spotting the junglers here.
Looks like KT actually wants to start the Infernal Dragon. And I don't think Hanwha Life
They're going to check it now.
or cares. Lux might try to go for an ultimate. Oh, never mind. They're going to commit to the
TP coming in.
Burst the dragon.
Okay, not going for that one. The binding is coming in. They have a huge amount of damage with the Aurelia and Lux. But final chapter coming out here. And Kingen in the backline, 1v5 on the Jax, but he is going way too far. Baits BDD into it as well, who has the Shuriken over the wall. And Hanwha Life will get the 2 kills and the Infernal Drake on top of
I'm a little bit perplexed. Just on my
Welcome
screen,
back to the
Brendan.
LCK.
Well, I'm glad to be back. Oh, man. All right. Well, I'm waiting for the replay to try to dissect that one. Let's take a look here. So you'll notice that Skarner... Oh, okay. So he doesn't actually have Smite available unless this is a replay bug, which I don't think that it is. So they can't actually commit to just smiting the dragon. But still, I think they have enough damage to actually burst it down before Jarvan would have been able to come into range, unless they think that Lux can steal it away. But a lot of chaos is unfolding. Hanwha Life managed to get a lot done with the teleport. Kingen, he followed suit, but wasn't quite able to do anything on his own. And so, Infernal Dragon and a big swing goes over to Hanwha.
It's definitely a very awkward fight for KT. They're kind of like got caught with their pants down at the dragon. They're like, oh crap, we gotta run. And then the Skarner just got bursted down without even getting his ultimate off. Kingdom by himself, 1v5. Not exactly the clean fight you were looking for. So Hanwha Life, we were saying they were kind of the underdogs coming into this one, but now they're up 2K, and they have an Infernal Drake already. So anything's possible from here.
And the good thing for them is that an Ocean spawning next, so they have the ability to just, in theory, forego it and just lock the game state the way that it is with their Infernal. And this is the exact kind of position that we talked about in the pick ban. They need to get ahead. The Infernal Drake's going to help with that. The kills, everything is going well for them. Looking like they're going to get a Herald, still a minute and a half remaining on plate, so this should be able to be converted into even more gold. And I think that if you're looking for where do you accelerate, I think it's the Aurelia in top.
It does feel like that, especially after the fight and the way it went. You notice that the pushing they had down in the bottom lane allows Songyun and Key to unlock and head up towards that Rift Herald just in case KT wanted to challenge there. Hanwha Life, thankfully, one of our teams that likes to get aggressive with objectives and just in the game in general, trying to go for plays. So not wasting any time here. They're going to use it before 14 minutes, get a couple of plates, and not actually going to go for the Aurelia. They're going to try to drop this onto the LeBlanc for Lava in mid lane.
The lane state was really good in mid relative to Jarvan's proximity, and so with the cannon minion and the Herald, they have a lot of fodder. It's very safe to plant it down there. And now Bono going to move up into the top lane. And so on, pushing the wave back into Kingen.
He's doing really well in that lane, and now it's definitely going to hit that Trinity Force first. Looks like he is down a level somehow. Kind of interesting that this happened, but getting good trades either way with his extra sheen that he's got on top of everything. Here comes Bono. Just going to poke him with his stick. and get a couple of plates. Might as well when there's about 10 seconds left. Let's see if they can rush this one down. Oh, it's going to be close, and it looks like they will get it. Nice.
That's really nice, and you had LeBlanc even rotating up to aid with any pressure if it be necessary, and so right now almost a 3,000 gold advantage for Hanwha Life, and it's also in the places where you want it to be, the Aurelia and the LeBlanc. The one lane where you could say that they're having a little bit of trouble is the bottom lane against the Ezreal and the Yuumi, and that's going to be the saving grace for KT later on in the match.
Yeah, we'll see if Frey, with his 2 items on the Ezreal, can somehow help carry his team. It's definitely a little bit of a savior for KT fans, no doubt, having this veteran player so well loved in the community trying to come back. But let's see if he can actually do it here. Just have a Yuumi on his back to help. We saw the gold from the plates, and almost 1,000 gold ahead from those plates was Hanwha Life. So doing pretty good with those.
At this point, Hanwha Life looking to just raise the mid-tier 1 turret here. Not going to be able to, but I mean, it's all but dead at this point. It has basically 1 auto attack remaining from almost any champion.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting, you know, that's the build-up from Lava getting the kill early on onto Akali, then the Rift Herald, and then just BDD not in the lane to catch the wave on that last one, so a nice extra chunk. And that would be a fantastic first turret to get in the mid lane, and then maybe even add the top lane to it. Another chain is going to come in here. Lava not looking for it yet, but the flash forward nearly catches him there with the binding. May have been able to finish off BDD had it landed.
Yeah, he definitely would have been able to had that binding landed. So really like how aggressive Key was just being right there with the Lux. And had they killed Akali, definitely would have demanded that stick around in mid lane, so indirectly takes pressure off everything else on the map. And right now, Sohan, he's going to raise the top tier 1. And the gold lead continues to increase in favor of Hanwha Life, as KT are, they're waiting. They are, they're waiting. And with the Ocean Drake coming up, it's not like they're pressured to fight with Hanwha Life over, say, a mountain or an infernal. And so now the goal for them is to allow the game to enter into a lull state and try to make it to 3 items. Because Hanwha Life, they don't actually have wave clear. They don't really have siege. And so team compositions like this, they have a reliance on Baron in order to end the game. But without a Mountain Dragon to accelerate the speed at which you can do it, it's going to be a little bit difficult to do it at 20, 22, 23 minutes, which means that we're at least destined to likely get to 2.5 items, which could mean that the grass might be a little bit greener for KT.
Waiting in the brush here. Brush camp is not going to catch Sohan off guard.
Uh-oh.
Although, he was thinking about it, wanted to challenge, go into that duel mode with Kingen. Little did he know a friend was waiting in the sides. So Ocean Drake will be started here by the Jarvan. Wants to get that off. Maybe they can roll a higher Drake now that they have very good control of this game, and they're actually going to roll another Infernal.
And if people are wondering, well, why isn't Aurelia walking up to the Jax? She has the Trinity Force. It's because Jax's story isn't congruent with his behavior the whole game. Why is a Jax who doesn't have a completed Trinity Force arbitrarily this far up in the lane by himself, when for the first 16 minutes of the game he's been playing defensively, playing back, playing scared of the Aurelia, always being cautious? Doesn't take a genius to know that there might be the cheater jungler.
Yeah,
somewhere in
cheater
close
jungler. Yeah, it's true. These pro players, they got a good read on the situation. But he was not going to bite the bait that time around. And so far, this Skarner that was prioritized heavily in the draft, it was second pick after the Yuumi, hasn't done much. Died at the Drake the first time around. I don't think I actually saw him use his ultimate after that. So far, on the side of Hanwha Life, he has, well, they have just one QSS that's going to be on the LeBlanc so far. We'll have to wait and see who else will pick that up.
Oh. Open Dragon was picked up by Hanwha. And they did manage to have Fortune be on their side, as Infernal Dragon will be coming up next. So 3.5 minutes until that happens, which does mean that the itemization will still favor them for that fight for the time being. And with double Infernal Drake, that's such a powerful accelerant that even the natural base scaling and itemization scaling for KT, it won't really matter as much as it should have at around the 3-item mark. And so now, Prey, I mean, he's going to have to do what they brought him in to do if KT's still going to want to have a chance in this game.
Lava getting aggressive, knows that he has a gigantic leash to pretty much do whatever he wants, especially with this German behind him. And it looks like they have their sights set on this bottom lane turret, but so far, Prey and Snowflower have been clearing out that wave pretty well.
Jack's now pushing up the wave. Aurelia does know about Skarner being down there with Bono.
See, these trades are going heavily in favor of Kane. He picked up his own Trinity Force, has the red buff. You see an extra pickaxe for So-On, but it's still not enough to win these trades, as now the ultimate's coming out here. King under the turret, looking for it. Flashes forward, gets the triumph, and will take that kill in the solo, but then Lava has to spoil his fun and clean up the mess.
So ultimately, from a gold standpoint, will be advantageous for Hanwha Life to get the kill and the assist. So definitely not the end of the world. We'll take another quick look at this, and this was actually quite well done. Kingen ended up dodging the stun. He gets hit by the Aurelia ultimate, but he just has so much damage and the red buff, and you can see right there, Flash comes out at the end, and then Lava, it was all in vain. He was there to pick up the kill regardless.
Yeah, had to spoil the fun. Lava now 2-0-1 in this game. He's stacking up the gold so far.
So that, right now, he's going to go up to this wave, and he should probably just push the next one and then begin.
We're going Baron.
Ooh.
We're not wasting any time. We're 21 minutes in, and they know somehow they got a read on this one. Throw out the Ezreal ultimate and say no.
The interesting thing about this is, in theory, Hanwha Life, they figure that they have immunity from Baron damage because of the Lux ultimate and the Open Drake. So they can just constantly keep doing it without realistically taking damage. Doesn't matter how long it takes them. They have the Callista Rend. So as long as they end up going unspotted for a while, they can cheese it and try to sneak it. So Jax pushed the next wave after clearing the main wave up and top, and now he's pathing down toward... Never mind, he turned around. I'm truly bad.
Does that make you unhappy?
A little bit. A little bit. It's like when you order chocolate ice cream and they give you vanilla.
I mean, I'd be happy with that one. Chocolate ice cream is way too sugary.
What?
It leaves that taste in your mouth at the end. Tastes kind of good while you're eating it, but not my favorite, Ellis.
Is that like watching LCK at international events?
Yeah, it does leave an awful taste in your mouth at times, that's for sure.
All right.
Bono's just going to have to flash here. Not sure what he was doing. He was going for a walk. As KT, they're putting on a stand here at the Infernal Drake. They're down 4,000 gold, but they say, hey, we think that we can do this here. We can challenge.
Jax actually has a natural flank.
Big ult. See a giant two-shot barrage through the entire team. And that means that Hanwha Life just not going to step up and try to challenge it.
And so the Infernal Dragon going over to KT, it neutralizes the Drakes. And speaking about Equilibrium, an Open Drake is spawning next, so maybe KT could get that. They'd be even on Drakes. And
nice.
The problem right now that Hanwha Life is in, is they got all the advantages early. They got the Herald, they got so many plates, they got the mid lane turret, they got the kills going on LeBlanc and the Aurelia. Everything was favoring them. They can't do anything. Contrary to popular belief, champions do not deal exorbitant amounts of damage and can magically... except for LeBlanc.
See you later. That's gotta taste good for Lava. He's now got 3 kills.
They need to get something off this, but the problem is that the kill comes in on Ezreal, teleports him in. So you can't just start the Baron as if you just picked off a Skarner or an
Maybe
Akali.
they did it right away, but they're kind of
still going to be risky. Jax has TP.
Here. Is the question, will they start it here? Yes, they will.
Man.
Okay. No. Just kidding.
I think that what they're just trying to do, though, is bait it out.
Yeah, they
are. They
did Look at BDD. Takes a big binding to the face, and Snowflower is not going to stay alive. Goes down to the Ignite as well. And that Yuumi will not stay alive this time. And as you said, they're now going to go for the Baron.
And Ezreal is not even going to TP just to get closer faster. You're going to play this very careful. You can see that it does take some time for the Baron to go down, and so KT...
Going to TP.
Aurelia.
Coming in from behind, but Sohan is going to the left. KT actually going down. Looks like they want to give this one away. And with that Kalista, it's not going to be an easy steal or anything like that, so it's going to go ahead and rend it at 1,300 even, as he had so many stacks. And there you go, Baron already taken here by Hanwha Life in 25 minutes.
And this is really good for them. Talked about how they need Baron to close out games, and they just had a series of very good events. Prey farming the wave really, really far up. There was no reason to farm the wave right there. The wave was coming in. There wasn't any wave meeting each other.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. LeBlanc's damage.
Korean fans love that one.
And this was Akali. This was an excellent bait by Hanwha Life. They know that they have all of the vision around the Baron. They can't actually do the Baron, but they can demand that KT try to check or try to get a confirmation. And KT did it a little bit recklessly and ended up getting punished for it.
It was definitely rough. He kind of got caught. Someone had to check, and it was him. And now Bono's coming in, and he's just going to say hello. Get away from the turret. We're going to take it now. This is our turret. Hanwha Life coming in here. Had a really rough series against Sandbox, but that's what the nameplate's on, as Papa would say, right? It's Sandbox. They're a fantastic team. Hanwha Life had trouble against them. KT came in and stomped Jinair again. That's another thing where you have to take a look at the nameplates and say, well, what does it really mean? Because Hanwha Life looked really good here up against KT. They're outplaying them at every step. I feel like they're playing their composition very well.
Oh.
And now it's looking really good for Hanwha, at least in game number 1.
And this is one of the issues that the KT team comp has, is trying to resist against Baron is not the easiest task. And so a lot is going to be accomplished right now for Hanwha Life, and this game just keeps turning on its head every 5 minutes.
And it does. You can see that the 4 of them are standing on the mid turret, and it goes down anyway. That's not really what you want to see. As the push is going on down in the bottom lane, Umti, that's a sad Scorpion, still not able to do much here for his team. Push does continue. 2 cannon minions in the mid lane, 1 down on the bottom side doing a good job. Their siege is quite good. They have LeBlanc coming in and just dunking him down and Prey. He is so dead here. He's going to flash away, but it's just followed up by Lava to dunk him down. And the Ezreal that's supposed to be so safe is just bait here for the side of Hanwha Life.
This is definitely going to be 2 inhibitors at the bare minimum, unless KT get a little bit frisky. Oh man,
we're getting frisky. We're throwing forward key. He gets the binding, but it's not going to work out. Zumti was able to get away with the splash.
They get the flash on a Skarner, though. That is a really key summoner.
Yeah.
And so now they're just going to back off, reset, spend all the gold that they've piled up. An elixir, it looks like, was actually just purchased by Jarvan. And we take a look at this Lava, able to get in there and do so much damage to Prey. He ends up going down. The inhibitor was going to fall either way. There was no real way to hold off that push, and so now Hanwha, they'll turn all their attention towards the top lane. And this becomes a really easy way to close out the game now. All they have to do is thread the needle.
And I think KT are going to think twice before they give Lava this LeBlanc. I mean, this guy set up the first blood. He's been picking off Prey over and over underneath turrets in the mid lane. It doesn't matter where Prey is. It's just dead meat every single time. And it's been looking pretty easy for Life now. They're up 9,000 gold, going for the big push up on the top side. Don't even need Baron this time around. Opposition is not really going to matter as this game gets very one-sided.
Oh, man. Not the most damage out of the Lux. Doesn't have any ability power items, really, just yet. Game has not gone on long enough. You can see on Life, they're actually not getting the Ocean Dragon right away, and I really like this because it just ensures that if they do, for some reason, end up having to capture it, it's going to force the Elder to spawn. Whereas had they eaten it sooner, would have caused another Elemental Dragon to spawn.
Elise here now onto Umti, final chapter as Yumi stuck there on the Skarner. Not able to do much. Sohan hopping forward. Just a couple of bindings and extra damage, and just like that, Life take out another inhibitor. We got Baron spawning in 45 seconds. They can make the Elder spawn as we were talking about. Life are just sailing free, looking good.
Yeah, this is a fantastic game state for them to be in right now. And I can't imagine a world where KT can actually come back from this. It would probably involve something going catastrophically wrong during a team fight and KT managing to get either the Baron or the Elder. The stars have to truly align. But I'll tell you one area where the stars are not aligning. The Morellonomicon on BDD.
Yeah.
Stars aren't aligning
there.
Mention
it, but
Lux doesn't even have a theme yet. There's not a lot of healing that you're stopping.
Well, it feels like KT know Life very well. They're very reluctant to get baited into this one again. But eventually it's going to come down to it. You don't have any inhibitors, and KT either have to force a fight or lose their base.
This is quite difficult with the 7v5 enabled. For those unfamiliar with that terminology, when you have all three inhibitors down, 2 super minions coming in from every lane, it practically takes 2 members to hold them off unless you have very specific champions, hence the 7 versus 5.
That gives them the free Baron. They never got that Ocean Drink, so they don't really have the Elder spawning here.
Yeah.
But maybe if they go straight there, they can try to line it up with the next Baron if they do need it.
Love the itemization, too, out of Life. Lots of defensiveness. They recognize how far ahead they already are. You don't have to just keep adding on power, because you're already dealing more than you should be in what one would consider a normal game or an even game. And so we're probably just going to get a Doom push coming in here, and it should be all but impossible for KT to hold it off.
Yeah, they're not even going to kill the dragon. They're going to let little Open Drake survive. Open Drake the second here in this game. As we're just going to run it down mid. That's what we're going for. All the super minions with the Baron. And yeah, it's looking pretty easy for Hanwha here in this game number 1. Looking good, kind of looking like spring in terms of this matchup, but let's see how KT can do. True Shot Barrage is going to be dodged by everyone. Another binding here onto the Skarner. This time, no stopwatch, and Umti still alive, though. Kingen trying to get in the back line, but he's going 1v3. Already, the Skarner has died, and Kingen's going to go down, too. That should just be it. Everybody else on the side of KT is getting routed here and pushed back into the base. 4 members already going down. Prey trying to do his best with Snowflower on his back, but they'll just pick up 2 extra kills. And a very easy game number 1 will go the way of Life.
And that was pretty clean.